Hello everyone, we're solving Leetcode today. Contains duplicate. Pretty easy question, beginner's level question. So if you're just starting out, this is probably the best question to start TSA with. Um, let's just jump right into the question. Given an integer array, nums return true if any value appears at least twice in the array, and return false if every element is distinct. Perfect. So we have given an array here, nums with bunch of integer values here 1 2 3 1. Pretty early on you can notice that there is 1 repeating itself. There's a duplicate here, so if there's a duplicate we return true, hence you see output true. Perfect. Next example, all distinct values 1 2 3 4, no duplicates here, hence the output is false, and same goes for the example number 3. Perfect. Okay, so how do we solve this question? As a beginner, what is the first thing that you should think about? Okay, so the first thing that you should think about is how do you look for an element in an array? How do you search for it? And that exact fundamental logic is going to be applied here. Um, we're going to select one here from the array, and we're going to look in the rest of the array. We're going to check whether 1 is present in the rest of the array. So we're going to compare it with 2, we're going to compare it with 3, we're going to compare it with 1. And if there's a match, it means it's a duplicate, and we are going to return true. Let's see if it works for example 2. So 1, we select 1, we compare it with 2, we compare it with 3, we compare it with 4. No match. Perfect. So now we parse again, select 2, and then we look for 2 in the rest of the array. We compare it with 3, we compare it with 4. Nothing. We move on to the next element. We select 3 and then we look at the left of the array. There's nothing. There's no match, and we don't really select 4 because that's the last element, and there's nothing to actually look for on the left side of the array, and hence we just return false because there was no match, there was no duplicate value. Perfect. All right, so this is one solution of this problem. This is not the most optimized one. This is just brute force solution. The problem with this approach is that it's too slow. We are parsing the array too many times. Just to find one single element, we are parsing the array again and again. This is making our program too slow. Um, the time complexity of this program is going to be exponential. Is there a better way to solve this question? Certainly yes. So next approach should be, what if we can sort this array? And if we sort this array, so first of all, is there a possibility of to sort this array? If we sort this array, is it going to affect my output? So if we sort this, it will look something like this. The position of each element, does my output, so is my output in any way getting affected by the position of the elements in the array? Here no, because we're just looking for any duplicate. Here as well we can see there are duplicates. It's just the change of the position. What one good thing is that all the duplicates are side by side, right? Even if, let's say for an example, if this array would have been like 2 and 4 and then 5 and then 7 and then 2 4 and 1, it would look like 1 and 1 and 2 and 2 and then 4. You get the point, right? So on and so forth. So all the duplicates elements will be side by side, and it will be much easier to look for duplicates. We just select one element and look to the right side of the array, and if there's a match, we found our duplicate and we return true. Perfect. So how do we solve this? Let's solve this. arrays dot sort. So we solve our array, and now one loop here for I is equals to 1, and then I should be less than num's length. Okay, and then I will be plus plus. What are we going to do here? We're going to compare if nums of I is equal to nums of I minus 1, and if those two values are equal, we're going to return true. That's it. What is happening here? We are just, let's say, I'm going to show it to you here. So what we are essentially doing is, let's say this is the array, this is the sorted array we have, and now we are starting from here, and what we're doing is we're just comparing this value with the previous one, with this one, and if they both are same, we're just returning it true. For an example, let's take another example. Let's say this is the array we have. Let's say we have 2, and we compare it with 1, nothing, nada. We move 1, and with 3. We're here, comparing with 4, nothing here. We're here, now we're comparing the previous element, 3. Oh, perfect, it's a match. Once it's a match, it will return true. And let's just say these are all distinct values. If they are all distinct values, then we just move on, compare with last element, and since now that we are at the end, we couldn't find any duplicate, so we just return false. And yeah, that's it. That's how we solve this question. Like I said, this is not the most efficient solution, but this is way better than exponential time complexity, way better than what we solved, the brute force solution, way better than the brute force solution. Perfect. What is the, let's just submit it. Pretty sure, yes, perfect, it's accepted. Okay, now let's just delete this. Okay, this is one optimized solution. What if your interview says no, that was n log n, can we do it in constant time? Can we do it in constant time? Can we solve it in constant time? Okay, let's see, what can we do? Constant time meaning we just need to pass the array once, only once. Okay, so if we have to do that, then we might need something else. We might think of it as you need to have some sort of a box where you can drop these values, and just when you're about to drop it, you just check whether that element already exists or not, and if it does, then we found the duplicate, right? What I mean is, it's just code. Okay, we're going to use hash set as the box. So hash set is the data structure that we are going to use, so that's going to be integer, and we're going to call it as set, and then new as set. Okay, perfect. And now for each element, so for each element in the array, what we're going to do is we're going to check if my set contains the value, which is I. And if it does, then we are just going to return true, right? So first hash set only stores unique values, okay? So we are using hash set to essentially store all the values. When are we storing it? So before we are storing it, we are first checking whether it contains or not. Let's say if it does not contain it, then now we add it. So set.add is I is the element, and that's it. And if let's say it does not, if it stores all the values and it does not come to this if block, and we come to the end of the for loop, and we just return false, meaning we couldn't find any duplicate, and hence we are just returning false. Perfect. Let's just check if it works. Perfect, it works for all the three cases. Now let's submit it. Perfect. We've solved this question using asset as well, and this is the most efficient way to solve this question. And yes,